Hi, Roy Williams with Airframe Components, and today our topic of discussion is Piper PA 28 and 32 fuel tanks. Many of the owner forums and websites have discussions on Piper fuel tanks, specifically leaking of Piper fuel tanks. So today I thought I would get a selection of different fuel tanks out here to show you different styles and different problem areas and different issues that arise in the Piper fuel tank areas. So here is my first illustration of a Piper fuel tank. Again, this is just a removable section of the leading edge of the wing. One item of note, if you ever buy a Piper wing, make sure that it includes the fuel tank with it. All of these wings have the fuel tank fit individually to the wing, and trying to buy one wing and then fit a fuel tank from a different wing is almost next to impossible to get the screw holes to line up. So be forewarned that if you buy a Piper wing used from a different project, things like that, make sure that the fuel tank is included with it, because if you think your fuel tank will fit a different wing, you're going to be in for a big surprise. This particular tank here, this is off a very early Piper, and if you'll look here on the end of the tank, it has a final OK of September 21st, 1961. If you follow the history of the Piper PA-28s, the first flight of the prototype Cherokee was in January of 1961, and this one here specifically says L-135, left-hand Piper fuel tank, obviously probably serial number 135. So this is one of the very first fuel tanks that came off the Piper line. This is still the same style of construction that they use even today. Now this is the standard 25-gallon fuel tank. The later model Piper Aero taper wings, the Dakotas, the Saratogas, they have a larger fuel tank, but it is still the same style of construction. You have a closeout panel behind it, and then just a section of leading edge skin. On the early Piper fuel tanks, 1961, 62, probably 63, they had a small filler neck on here, and you can see by the measurements, this particular filler neck measures 2 inches in diameter. Then they started going to a larger diameter fuel neck and used that continuously from there on out. Starting in the mid to late 60s, then they started putting a larger diameter fuel neck here of 3 inches. And again, they started using that then from there on out. On the later model fuel tanks, when they started going with the larger filler neck, they used a regular carbon steel tang on here. The problem we had with those then is over time, the filler necks would start to rust out. You can see different extreme examples of a rusted filler neck here. You can see here an extreme example of a corroded filler neck where the tangs are completely missing. Starting in about the mid-70s, Piper started using a stainless steel filler neck, and that got rid of the corrosion issues around the filler neck tangs. Another popular area for leaks to begin is around this boss right here where the fuel sump drain is located. This is an aluminum fitting right here, and many times those aluminum fittings will crack either from too much torquing of the fuel sump drain or just pure age of the fitting itself. Here is an extreme example of the aluminum fuel sump boss. You can see the cracks here starting around the edge of the hole.
There's one right there. Here's another one right here on the same fitting. You flip the fitting over and you can see the cracks all the way through to the inner surface. This would be a good place for fuel to start leaking out as well. Of course, you can change that out with a brand new fitting from Piper.
Many times when people talk about a leaking Piper fuel tank, it's not necessarily the tank itself that is leaking, but some of the vent lines and some of the perishable rubber lines around the perimeter of the tank that are actually failing and causing the leaking. You can see here on this particular tank where the vent line attaches, you can see stains right here where the fuel is leaking out from where the rubber connecting hose was either cracked or destroyed at one point. Working your way around the back of the tank, a lot of times you can see where the fuel has run down the back side of the tank here. You can see staining here also underneath the fuel quantity transmitter. A lot of times that gasket will fail and start to leak, and then the fuel will drip and come out around these screw holes down at the inboard portion of the tank. Another good place to go looking for problems is right here at the fuel outlets. Either the finger screen might be leaking or the flexible hose that attaches to the tank might be leaking as well. You can see on the fuel venting system here on the Piper PA-28 and 32 series aircraft. The vent outlet itself is located right next to the filler neck at the upper outboard portion of the fuel tank. There's a little rubber hose right here that connects the hard line to the fitting. As you go around the back, the vent line traverses across the back, turns, goes back across the tank, and then comes out at the fuel vent line located underneath the bottom of the wing. There's another rubber hose right here. I would suggest that anytime the fuel tank is removed from the aircraft, whether you're doing a corrosion inspection, I'm thinking of Service Bulletin 1006, anytime you're changing out the flexible fuel lines, that these rubber fuel hoses here, these are 1/4-inch rubber hoses. They should be considered to be a perishable item. You might as well change those while the fuel tank is removed from the aircraft. There's also a rubber gasket that goes here on the fuel quantity transmitter. That should be changed every time that the fuel tank is removed as well. It may not be leaking today, but it could very easily start leaking next week. So while you have the fuel tank removed from the wing, you might as well go ahead and change out that gasket as well. Many times when a Piper fuel tank starts leaking, one solution that used to be popular, has kind of lost favor in recent times, is sloshing the Piper fuel tank. You can see inside of this tank, I've cut away a section here so we can look inside and see how ugly the inside of the fuel tank looks when that sloshing compound has been applied. Some people call it sloshing compound. I've heard it referred to as monkey blood as well. But anyways, it's a poor way of trying to put a Band-Aid over a bad situation. Here is another novel idea that somebody tried using to seal a Piper fuel tank, is putting some caulk along the edge of the flange here and also around the fuel outlet. This is not a bathtub, this is an airplane, so let's please not use caulk to try to seal these fuel tanks. So let's say we have a worst case scenario where the fuel tank does actually have to be reskinned, whether the outer skin has some sort of damage to it or it actually warrants a complete reskinning of the tank to reseal the tank. We bring the tank in, we remove the outer skin, and then fabricate a new skin and reseal the whole entire structure. With the new skin on here, the hat sections are put back in. You can see the fuel tank sealer. This is the same type of sealer we use on the Cessna wet wings that we talked about in previous videos. Each of the hat sections, once they've been riveted in place, are sealed along the rivet line. And then also the closeout band of the fuel tank, the rear band that goes around the outer perimeter, is all cleaned, and all of the fittings and fasteners are sealed on the inside of that as well. Once the closeout band has been sealed and the hat sections on the skin have been sealed, then the tank skin will be riveted back in place, again sealed all the way around the outer perimeter of the fuel tank. One item of note, this closeout band on the rear portion of the fuel tank is formed from soft aluminum. This is O material. It is very soft, so if you're going to attempt to do this yourself, please be advised that do not chisel and do not pry on this outer band, because this is soft material and it will deform very easily. So here I have a completed fuel tank. This has a brand new outer skin on it. The interior has been all totally resealed. Once we put it all back together, we reassemble the vent line. Of course, new rubber connecting hoses up here at the upper portion of the vent line, and then down here at the lower portion of the vent line as well. Here's the area where the fuel quantity sender goes. Of course, you're going to be putting a new gasket on here when you put the quantity transmitter in there as well. Once everything is completed and back together, then the fuel tank is pressure tested to ensure that it is completely airtight. That's all for today's topic. Join us again for more videos from Airframe Components.